They do. They're pretty lax. Excuse me.
Already off with Raven dying of a cough. How's it going, everyone? I'm the Indominic Rex, and today we are here on RavenWood Reads. Only it is no longer RavenWood Reads. This is the Indominic Reads. Raven's been replaced. He's no longer part of this.
Okay.
Instead, we are going to continue where we left off.
We're technically on our left.
Where Raven left off disastrously last week with Michael Crichton's.
I stumbled on a few big words, and I kept mispronouncing basilisk wrong.
Basilisk. See what I mean? This is what I said about the last week's stream. Bro cannot read.
I can read.
You clearly.
When it comes to the big words, I know how to pronounce them. Right. But for some reason, while reading them, it comes into my mind as a different word. It just says, "Hey, this is not the word you are looking for." And so I'm like, I'm trying to read that word. So brain function.
Last week, fun fact. Last week, I wasn't feeling entirely well, so I wasn't able to join. So I left it to Ravenwood to read Michael Crichton's Jurassic Park.
You should have been here
for the week
when I read the old word
for that week's stream, and he just could not do it.
You should have been here when I was reading Will the Mill. I was fumbling on some old words.
I was there. I watched.
That were modern swear words, slur words, and so I was like, "Oh no, I cannot say this swear word." Not swear word, a slur.
I was watching those. I was watching those videos. He was a stuttering mess then. He was a stuttering mess last week. That is why I've made the executive decision to never be sick again.
Imagine if
I am going to finish reading Jurassic Park myself. I'm going to finish reading this book.
Imagine
myself,
if modern
even if it kills
writers.
He's never reading again.
For example, queer in the Dr. Henry and Dr. Jekyll story, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde story. Queer meant strange.
I brought a cup of water so that I'm able to keep my throat parched.
Queer meant strange, right? Queer. Okay, so anyways, no.
Or at least it did back then.
Yeah.
Nowadays, queer.
It was acting quite. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. With my fingers will list do.
Back.
Okay, we're back. Okay, we're back. Okay. Anyways, so but hold on, let me continue what I was saying. And then in Will of the Mill, there was a bundle of sticks ready for the fire. Can you guess what that word was when? If you Google that up, it was that word, and I almost read it. I almost read it.
I'll be honest, I wasn't
completely not conscious.
I did not watch that.
Well, not completely unconscious, but
I did not watch that episode.
Anyways, so I was about to say the word out loud, and in the most calm way. You know how most people are like, they shout the word, the F word, right? But I was going to say in the most what do you call it? Not just calm, but
natural.
No, not just natural, but just normal, not normal, but it was normalized, not nonchalant, just normalized way. Just I was just reading it, bro. So,
well, anyways, while Dominic, will be reading Jurassic Park from now on, Raven here is going to open this Jurassic World paperweight with an amber piece on it.
Yeah. And I'll remove this plastic now and he'll start.
Yeah. So we are resuming from where things left off last week, the shore of the inland sea. I'm going to backtrack by about a page and then resume where Raven officially left off. So,
yeah.
Shore of the inland sea.
This is the Dr. Alan Grant part.
Yep. Alan Grant crouched down, his nose inches from the ground. The temperature was over 100 degrees. His knees ached, despite the rug layers pads he wore. His lungs burned from the harsh alkaline dust. Sweat dripped off his forehead onto the ground. Grant was oblivious to the discomfort. His entire attention was focused on the 6-inch square of earth in front of him. Oh, that's pretty nice, man.
Look at this plastic.
Yeah, we got a new paperweight.
And we also got this thing that you could probably do
I'm
something.
going to set this down right over here. You all probably can't see it, but
Actually, I'll show it to you. Continue reading.
Square of earth in front of him. Fortunately, with the dental pick and an artist's camel brush, he exposed the tiny L-shaped fragment of jawbone. It was only an inch long and no thicker than his little finger. The teeth were a row of small points and had the characteristic medial angling. Bits of bone flaked away as he dug. Grant paused for a moment to paint the bone with rubber cement before continuing to expose it.
Want me to open a different?
Those of herbivorous duck dinosaurs laid their eggs in communal nests and raised their squeaking young. Over the millions of years that followed, the pale green alkaline lake grew shallower and finally vanished. The exposed land buckled and cracked under the heat, and the offshore island with its dinosaur eggs became the eroded hillside in northern Montana, which Alan Grant was now excavating. "Hey, Alan!" He stood, a barrel-chested, bearded man of 40. He heard the chugging of the portable generator and the distant clatter of the jackhammer cutting into the dense rock on the next hill. He saw the kids working around the jackhammer, moving away the big pieces of rock after checking them for fossils. At the foot of the hill, he saw the 6 tipis of his teepees. Those are the things.
Yeah, teepees.
Yeah, those are the.
I think I mispronounced that last.
Those were the kind of tents
Tipis.
that. Yeah, those were the kind of tents that were kind of a lot easier to set up than actual tents. When you and I learned how to camp a long time ago. God, it's been so long since I've been camping. Anyways, so at the foot of the hill, he saw the 6 teepees of his camp, the flapping mess tent, and the trailer that served at their field laboratory. And he saw Ellie waving to him from the shadow of the field laboratory. "Visitor," she called, pointed to the east. Grant saw the cloud of dust and a blue Ford sedan bouncing over the rutted road
Now
towards them.
This is something that's different from the movie.
In the movie, there was a helicopter visit.
In the movie, there was a giant helicopter that had crash landed. I'm just kidding.
It didn't crash.
Well, you had just interrupted me. Anyways, there was a movie that got into the helicopter. Anyways, no. In the movie, there was a helicopter that landed, right? And there was dust everywhere, which I actually thought that actually is much more entertaining than a sedan coming in, because a sedan doesn't drive in. You okay?
Yeah.
Anyways, a sedan doesn't drive in and like get dust everywhere. It's very considerate of the building there. But no, since the helicopter is like. Right, anyways.
He's got a little something.
Now do you want to open a different package? This one?
Okay, so.
Okay, yeah, there we go. I'm sorry, if I'm not going to read, I'm going to be doing something else.
All right.
Something small or something big?
Some small.
How about this?
All right, where was I? All right. Grant saw the cloud of dust and the blue Ford sedan bouncing over the rutted road towards them. He glanced at his watch, right on time. On the other hill, the kids looked up with interest. They didn't get many visitors in Snakewater, and there had been a lot of speculation about what a lawyer from the Environmental Protection Agency would want to see Alan Grant about. Yeah, the Messiachosaurus.
Who got you that?
This one, I believe, was actually a birthday present. But Grant knew that paleontology, the study of extinct life, had in recent years taken on an unexpected relevance to the modern world. The modern world was changing fast, and urgent questions about the weather, deforestation, global warming, or the ozone layer often seemed answerable, at least in part with information from the past, information that paleontologists could provide. He had been called as an expert witness twice in the past few years. Grant started down the hill to meet the car. The visitor coughed in the white dust as he slammed the car door. Bob Morris, EPA, he said, extending his hand. I'm with the San Francisco office. What'd you do?
No, nothing. It's just I'm disappointed. It's not really in good quality.
It's from the Dino Escape variety from Mattel. This isn't exactly their best product.
Well, no, Mattel is good.
I said this isn't their best product. This is from the Dino Escape.
I know this was just something that was meant to be made fast.
Fierce Force trademark.
No, what the Fierce Force is. I don't know what Dino Escape is. This is just.
Right. Grant introduced himself and said, "You look hot. Want a beer?" Jesus, yeah. Morris was in his late 20s, wearing a tie and pants from a business suit. He carried a briefcase. His wingtip shoes crunched on the rocks as they walked toward the trailer. When I first came over the hill, I thought this was an Indian reservation, Morris said, pointing to the TV. There's so much wrong with that.
He's racist.
No, it's just that Indian reservations were a thing back way before our time. After Americans pretty much kicked
he can move his
kicked
arms.
the Native Americans out of their homes.
So weird.
And forced them onto reservations. American history is kind of fucked up. I'm not gonna lie. It's a very fucked up history, but
did Biden also remove more land over there in Ohio? I think. I don't know. I can't remember.
I don't know.
I was really mad at
I don't know. All I'm gonna say is that we were fucked up then. We're fucked up now.
But let's not get too much into politics. The package.
You're picking that up later.
Oh, I know. Just putting it in a neat little pile. Actually, hold on. Question. Do you want to keep this weird foam thing?
I don't know.
I might think of something if it comes to mind. Do you want to keep this
distracting me?
I want one last question. Do you want to keep this little package?
Yes.
Okay. I'll keep this package. I'll put this over here.
When I first came over the hill, I thought this was an Indian reservation, Moore said, pointing to the teepees. No, Grant said. It's the best way to live out here. Grant explained that in 1978, the first year of the excavations, they had come out in North Slope. They had come out in North Slope octahedral tents, the most advanced available back then. But the tents always blew over in the wind. They tried other kinds of tents with the same result. Finally, they started putting up teepees, which were larger inside, more comfortable, and more stable in the wind. These are Blackfoot teepees, built around 4 poles, Grant said. Sioux teepees are built around 3, but this used to be Blackfoot territory. So we thought, Moore said, very fitting. He squinted at the desolate landscape and shook his head. How long you been out here?
She's educated.
About 60 cases, Grant said. When Morris looked surprised, he explained. We measured time in beer. We start in June with 100 cases. We've gone through about 60 so far. 63 to be exact, Ellie Sattler said. As they reached the trailer, Grant was amused to see Morris gaping at her.
Did they measure beers in the movie?
No, they didn't.
Damn, would have been a great movie.
They left out a lot of stuff in the movie, but hopefully Jurassic World reads things.
I don't think they'll put beer in the next
measuring time in beer. Obviously not, but hopefully we'll see some small things, just small little Easter eggs. It'd be nice. I'm just saying it'd be nice. I mean, I may not be the only one who feels this way.
You know what they should do for the next 3 movies?
Assuming there are going to be 3.
No. Let's assume there's going to be 3 more movies, but it's not of the Jurassic movie, the current Jurassic Park movie, whatever, Jurassic saga.
Jurassic World.
The Jurassic World, Jurassic Park saga, whatever. They make a movie based off what happens in the book. Maybe not to a T.
So basically, just kind of like
just more of the details accurate. Forget.
So basically, kind of like a visual novel experience.
No, just like, okay, so like, you know how they didn't want it to be like a leaning too much into the horror or whatnot because of the time or whatever. With the movies,
burning time.
Yeah, well, no, we're supposed to burn time.
Well, I know, but I'd like to read.
Okay, continue reading.
63 to be exact, Ellie Sattler said as they reached the trailer. Grant was amused to see Morris gaping at her. Ellie was wearing cut-off jeans and a work shirt tied at her midriff. She was 24 and darkly tanned. Her blonde hair was pulled back. Hold on a second. So Alan Grant is a barrel-chested, bearded man of 40
in
the novel.
Yeah.
And Ellie is 24 and darkly tanned with blonde hair. And they were a couple in the movies? All right. I mean,
it could be they shaved his beard off later.
Again, these are small details that they didn't quite get in the movie. Now, don't get me wrong. Sam Neill played a phenomenal Alan Grant in the Jurassic Park movie, and Laura Dern, phenomenal as Ellie Sattler in Jurassic Park. It just sometimes if you go back and read how this all began and you key in some of the details, you realize, wait a minute, there's something about this. Anyways, blonde hair was pulled back right. Ellie keeps us going, Grant said, introducing her. She's very good at what she does. What does she do? Morris asked.
Dance until we're dead. She just dances.
Paleobotany, Ellie said. And I also do the standard field preps. She opened the door and they went inside. This is true. Again, Ellie Sattler was a paleobotanist in the movies and in the book. The air conditioning in the trailer only brought the temperature down to 85 degrees. Jesus Christ. How hot was it outside?
It was really hot. So hot, your heart could be cold. That doesn't make any sense. I heard that somewhere. I don't know.
And you wonder why people think you're stupid.
I heard it somewhere. I'm just going to repeat it because it sounds cool.
Well, guys, if you know where that thing comes from, let us know in the comment section of the video so that Raven can feel some sense of validation for that statement.
It probably doesn't come from anywhere. I probably just made it up on the spot.
Probably.
You'll never know.
Probably, and I'm going to laugh even more at how stupid you are.
All right, can I open another package?
No.
Okay, fine.
But it seemed cool after the midday heat. The trailer had a series of long wooden tables, tiny bone specimens laid out, tagged, and labeled. Farther along were ceramic dishes and crocks. There was a strong odor of vinegar.
Ew, vinegar. Well, you can't have a strong sense of vinegar in the movie. Someone has to mention it in the movie.
Morris glanced at the bones. I thought dinosaurs were bigger, he said. They were, Ellie said, but everything you see here comes from babies. Snake water is important primarily because of the number of dinosaur nesting sites here. Until we started this work, there were hardly any infant dinosaurs known. Only one nest had ever been found in the Gobi Desert. We've discovered a dozen different hadrosaur nests, complete with eggs and bones of infants.
Now they're just finding nests left and right.
Yeah. Because people likely started, doing their job. While Grant went to the refrigerator, she showed Morris the acidic acid baths, which were used to dissolve away the limestone from the delicate bones.
No, see, it's a bath. They purposely bathed in that. And somehow not die.
I'm going to throw you in this acidic acid bath and see how you like it.
Turns out that the acid is like a beverage. Or something.
They look like chicken bones, Morris said, peering into the ceramic dishes. Yes, she said, they are very bird-like. And what about those? Morris said, pointing through the trailer window to the piles of large bones out wrapped in heavy plastic.
What are those?
Rejects, Ellie said. bones too fragmentary when we took them out of the ground. In the old days, we just discard them, but nowadays we send them for genetic testing. Genetic testing? Morris asked. Here you go, Grant said, thrusting a beer into his hand. He gave another to Ellie. She chugged hers, throwing her long neck back. Morris stared. We're pretty informal here, Grant commented. Want to step into my office? Sure, Morris said. Grant led him to the end of the trailer, where there was a torn couch, a sagging chair, and a battered end table. They don't really take care of their furniture here. Grant dropped onto the couch, which creaked and exhaled a cloud of chalky dust.
That's a nice couch. I'm gonna take this couch.
He leaned back, thumped his boots up on the end table, and gestured for Morris to sit in the chair. Make yourself comfortable.
I would if you're taking the couch.
Grant was a professor of paleontology at the University of Denver and one of the foremost researchers in his field, but he had never been comfortable with social niceties. He saw himself as an outdoor man, and he knew that all the important work in paleontology was done outdoors with your hands. Grant had little patience for the academics, for the museum curators, for what he called teacup dinosaur hunters. And he took some pains to distance himself in dress and behavior from the teacup dinosaur hunters, even delivering his lectures in jeans and sneakers. Grant watched as Morris primly brushed off the seat of the chair before he sat down. Morris opened his briefcase, rummaged through his papers, and glanced back at Ellie, who was... Oh, there's a typo in the book. Who was lifting. See, they put it.
No. That's actually no. Actually, I've heard that some older books purposely type in. Grammar is weird and it changes. Like past tense. It's the past. It's weird, but like the thing was like he was lifting a cup. That's the idea there. But nowadays we just cut the one was. So that's what I'm
glanced back at Ellie, who was lifting bones with tweezers from the acid bath at the other end of the trailer, paying no attention to them. You're probably wondering why I'm here. Grant nodded. It's a long way to come, Mr. Morris. Well, Morris said, to get right to the point, the EPA is concerned about the activities of the Hammond Foundation. You received some funding for them. $30,000 a year, Grant said, nodding. For the last 5 years. What do you know about the foundation? Morris asked. Grant shrugged. The Hammond Foundation is a respected source of academic grants. They fund research all over the world, including several dinosaur researchers. I know they support Bob Carey out at the Tyrrell in Alberta, and John Weller in Alaska, probably more. Do you know why the Hammond Foundation supports so much dinosaur research? Morris asked. Of course, it's because old John Hammond is a dinosaur nut. You've met Hammond? Grant shrugged. Once or twice. He comes here for brief visits. He's quite elderly, and eccentric, the way rich people sometimes are, but always very enthusiastic. Why? So again, there's history between Hammond and Grant. Something that wasn't very built up upon in the movies. Well, Morris said, the Hammond Foundation is actually a rather mysterious organization. He pulled out the a 0x world map, marked with red dots, and passed it to Grant. These are the dig sites the Foundation financed last year. Notice anything odd about them? Montana, Alaska, Canada, Sweden, they're all sites in the north. There's nothing below the 45th parallel. Morris pulled out more maps. It's the same year after year. Dinosaur projects to the south in Utah or Colorado or Mexico never get funded. The Hammond Foundation only supports cold weather digs. We'd like to know why. That is another interesting detail I've forgotten about. Because in the movies, they were collecting just any random dinosaur whatsoever and placing them on a tropical island with modified DNA. But in the books, they were always funding sites from more northern dinosaur digs, but never to the south. Grant shuffled through the maps quickly. If it was true that the Foundation only supported cold weather digs, then it was strange behavior, because some of the best dinosaur researchers were working in hot climates. And there are other puzzles, Morris said. For example, what is the relationship of dinosaurs to amber?
Well, you see,
Amber. Yes, the hard yellow resin of dried tree sap. I know what it is, Grant said. But why are you asking? Because, Morris said, over the last 5 years, Hammond has purchased enormous quantities of amber in America, Europe, and Asia, including many pieces of museum-quality jewelry. The Foundation has spent $17 million on amber. They now possess the largest privately held stock of this material in the world. I don't get it, Grant said. Neither does anybody else, Morris said. Another thing, there is no Morris in the movie. We never meet his character. They cut him from the film. As far as we can tell, it doesn't make any sense at all. Amber is easily synthesized. It has no commercial or defense value. There's no reason to stockpile it. That over many years.
And must get my hands on that amber.
Yeah. Amber, Grant said, shaking his head. And what about his island in Costa Rica? Morris continued. 10 years ago, the Hammond Foundation leased an island from the government of Costa Rica, supposedly to set up a biological preserve. I don't know anything about that, Grant said, frowning. I haven't been able to find out much, Morris said. The island is 100 miles off the west coast. It's very rugged, and it's in an area of ocean where the combinations of winds and current Make it almost perpetually covered in fog.
Do you want me to continue reading after this point and on to this, roughly around here?
No. As a matter of fact, I never want you to read this book again.
Shush.
You proved you can't do it.
I can read it. I just stumbled on a few words. That's fine. Everyone stumbled.
They can't hear you anymore, Raven. All right, let's continue, shall we? All right.
I said, oh, sorry. I said, sorry.
Combination of
I had to leave for a
Make
quick.
it almost perpetually covered in fog.
Sorry, I had
They
to leave for a
used to
second.
call it Cloud Island, Isla Nublar. Apparently, the Costa Ricans were amazed that anybody would want it. Morris searched in his briefcase. The reason I mention it, he said, is that according to the records, you were paid a consultant's fee in connection with this island. I was? Grant asked. Morris paused. Oh, Morris passed a sheet of paper to Grant. It was the zero of a check issued in March 1984 from InGen Incorporated. Farallon Road, Palo Alto, California, made out to Alan Grant in the amount of $12,000. At the lower corner, the check was marked Consultant Services, Costa Rica, Juvenile Hyperspace. Oh, sure, Grant said. I remember that. It was weird as hell, but I remember it. And it didn't have anything to do with an island. Alan Grant had found the first clutch of dinosaur eggs in Montana in 1979, and many more in the next 2 years, but he hadn't gotten around to publishing his findings until 1983. His paper, with its report of a herd of 10,000 duck-billed dinosaurs living along the shore of a vast inland sea,
It's been 40 minutes.
a vast inland sea, building communal nests of eggs in the mud, raising their infant dinosaurs in the herd, made Grant a celebrity overnight. The notion of maternal instincts in giant dinosaurs and the drawings of cute babies poking their snouts out of the eggs had appeal around the world. Grant was besieged with requests for interviews, lectures, books. Characteristically, he turned them all down, wanting only to continue his excavations. But it was during these frantic days of the mid-1980s that he was approached by the InGen Corporation with a request for consulting services. Had you heard of InGen before? Morris asked. No. How did they contact you? Telephone call. It was a man named Gennaro or Gennaro, something like that. Morris nodded. Donald Gennaro, he said. He's the legal counsel for InGen. Now, I will point this out. Donald Gennaro in the movie was he was a lawyer, but I don't know if he was a legal counsel for InGen. He represented some buyers in the movie, but that was all pretty vaguely explained. They never explored it much. So it feels like Donald Gennaro was given Morris's role in the movie.
Morris doesn't get to
It's
die.
possible. Anyway, he wanted to know about eating habits of dinosaurs, and he offered me a fee to draw up a paper for him. Grant drank his beer, set the can on the floor.
It would be funny.
Gennaro was particularly interested in young dinosaurs, infants and juveniles, what they ate. I guess he thought I would know about that. Did you? Not really, no. I told him that we found lots of skeletal material, but we had very little dietary data. But Gennaro said he knew we hadn't published everything, and he wanted whatever we had, and he offered a very large fee, $50,000.
Oh, take that.
You greedy bastard. Morris
Not a greed, just we just need, you know.
Honestly,
How would that be? How much would that be in modern day?
$50,000 would be $50,000.
No. I'm talking about I'm talking about in economic
value.
Yeah, sorry.
I mean,
because you know how sometimes money is like the money back then would be this about our money nowadays. That kind of stuff.
I'm no expert at monetary study. But
comment section down below.
$50,000 is $50,000. Either way you slice.
No, I mean like how would that, because of like inflation now?
How would that build up?
Yeah, how that
or crumble down
or whatever.
I mean, if someone were to give you $50,000, you're just going to have $50,000.
I mean, like hypothetically, how much would that be nowadays? Instead of 50,000.
Oh, he saved it up and lived.
No, I'm saying how much would be hypothetically if this was set in modern day? Okay, I guess I'm struggling here with the instead of $50,000, how much would he be giving him instead? Hypothetically, how much do you think he would be giving? Because
well, see, that's harder to explain because the offer is $50,000. That's how much.
The offer is $50,000.
No, offer.
See? Oh, the offer. Okay, see, I thought you meant the author.
No, that's offer.
Yeah,
not offer.
Okay, anyways, so yes, I am the author of this book. I am now $50,000 richer.
According in the novel, Gennaro offered a very large fee of $50,000, which means if he were to offer that same amount in modern time, the offer would still be $50,000.
Okay, but I don't think that would. Well, okay, it's an offer, I guess. Okay, I may be thinking.
People have $50,000 nowadays. There are millionaires everywhere.
I'm probably thinking about because
you're thinking about what would happen if someone saved up $50,000.
No, I'm totally
built it up over a congruent.
I'm probably thinking of
time.
I'm probably thinking about
stop it. Sharp. It's going to cut.
Okay, no, my fault. Okay, no. I'm probably thinking about how much something would cost back then.
No,
versus
an offer of money is going to be an offer of money, not how much to spend something or how much something costs. He's offering $50,000 for Grant to consult about something.
Wait, what's the average amount for an offer to consult?
I don't know. I've never been a consultant.
that's the actual.
No one's ever come to me asking for my input on anything. I don't matter in the slightest. And anyways, Morris took out a tape recorder and set it on the end table. You mind? No, go ahead. So Gennaro telephoned you in 1984. What happened then? Well, Grant said, you see our operation here? $50,000 would support 2 full summers of digging. I told him I'd do what I could. So you agreed to prepare a paper for him? Yes. On the dietary habits of juvenile dinosaurs? Yes. No, just on the phone. Did Gennaro say why he wanted this information? Yes, Grant said. He was planning a museum for children, and he wanted to feature baby dinosaurs. He said he was hiring a number of academic consultants and named them. There were paleontologists like me and a mathematician from Texas named Ian Malcolm.
Yeah.
And a couple of
Mathematician. I thought it was
he called himself a chaotician, but he always started out as a mathematician.
Oh, okay.
As a matter of fact, in the movie, John Hammond even introduced him as a mathematician. But then Ian corrected him, saying chaotician.
Can I now open another package?
Why are you so insistent on
I want to
packages?
do something. I've been just doing nothing but listening. Why can't I just read?
This is you can't read.
I can read. I can read. I can read.
If you're so
I can't commentate. I can commentate, but that's just I just. What am I doing? I just exist.
Well, I imagine that's what I would have been doing if I had been here for your Will o' the Wisp series.
Oh, that's fair. I don't have anything for you to open.
Or your Artificer read.
That's fair. I don't have anything for you to open.
I don't have anything for you to open right now either.
Well, actually, there's a lot of birthday and Christmas gifts that I gave to you that you haven't opened, so
I haven't found the time to open them yet.
And here I am opening them for
you.
Because this is Jurassic Park themed, and for some reason it just so happened that the gifts that I gave to you are Jurassic Park.
That's not stuff. My fault, buddy.
There weren't many Godzilla stuff. And I was like, well, there's no Godzilla stuff. Oh, there's surprisingly no Power Ranger stuff. There's surprisingly not enough stuff that Dominic Rex likes that it was available other than Jurassic Park. It had its own shelf. Not mad. It's just like, I got you the gift. I want to see you open the gift on the day I gave it to you.
I will.
And so they just pile up over the years.
Not years. I've only had them.
That one was last year. That was your birthday. That was your other birthday. That was Christmas.
Year.
That was the last 3 years.
Not the last 3 years.
Yes. Time flies.
I'm sorry I haven't gotten around to opening them, Raven. I just haven't found the time or the motivation.
The motivation will be on the day when I give it to you. Hey, here, open it.
I opened it, and I opened it from
you
the
opened
wrapping.
the
It could have some serious collector's value.
You give me movies and stuff. I can't literally other than open the thing and then look at the disc.
I give
and that's
you
it.
Movies because there's something we can all enjoy. You give me collector's items, and I sometimes feel like I could save them in case one day I need to sell one for money.
Well, I don't. Well, you don't sell. Well, I don't sell any of your gifts.
You did twice.
I don't remember. When did I sold?
The Indiana Jones figure I gave you.
No, I didn't.
4 years ago.
I don't have any. What?
The Indiana Jones figure I gave to you. You pawned it off 4 years ago. That one time we went to the pawn shop.
I don't remember this.
It was the year when our stepdad took us to the pawn shop with him when he was pawning off the Xbox 360. You brought along the Indiana Jones figurine that I
don't
had gotten
remember.
you for your birthday, and you pawned it off.
I don't remember.
I had pawned off some Yu-Gi-Oh cards that I had back then that I wasn't using because I was in the middle of gathering Pokemon cards. I had no use for Yu-Gi-Oh cards back then because I was in the middle of gathering Pokemon cards.
I don't think I ever had Indiana Jones.
It was a very old Indiana Jones figure. You had the whip and everything.
This is an awkward stream already.
You're gonna make me feel like a piece of shit. I'm gonna
I honestly don't remember any.
Yeah, well, how do you think that makes me feel? You don't even remember a birthday gift I got for you. I at least remember that shit. And do you know why I remember it?
Because it's not open.
And it's not open. Exactly. I'll always be able to remember it.
I put my stuff on. Well, I didn't have a shot. I think it was because the whip was missing, and a lot of his other accessories was missing, and I didn't recognize the figure. And I didn't even play with the Indiana Jones figure.
It wasn't for play; it was a collector's item.
Oh, I didn't play with it though. For some reason, a lot of it. I probably didn't recognize.
It was a collector's item. You're not supposed to play with the collector's item.
It was not. I did not play with the collector's item. I think Jonathan, when he was younger, got into it and then just messed it up.
Whatever. Anyway, let's get back to the stream.
This is your distraction, not mine.
Right.
This is
featured baby dinosaur. This was your fault. All right. And a mathematician from Texas named Ian Malcolm, and a couple of ecologists, a systems analyst. Good group.
We never hear about this group ever.
Morris nodded, making notes. So you accepted the consultancy? Yes, I agreed to send him a summary of our work, what we knew about the habits of the duck-billed hadrosaurs we'd found. What kind of information did you send? Morris asked. Everything. Nesting behavior, territorial ranges, feeding behavior, social behavior, everything. And how did Gennaro respond? He kept calling and calling. Sometimes in the middle of the night. Would the dinosaurs eat this? Would they eat that? Should the exhibit include this? I could never understand why he was so worked up. I mean, I think dinosaurs are important too, but not that important. They've been dead for 65 million years. You'd think his calls could wait until morning. I see, Moore said. And the $50,000? Grant shook his head. I got tired of Gennaro and called the whole thing off. We settled up for $12,000. That must have been about the middle of '85. Morris made a note. And InGen? Any other contact with them? Not since 1985. And when did the Hammond Foundation begin to fund your research? I'd have to look, Grant said, but it was around then, mid-'80s. And you know Hammond as just a rich dinosaur enthusiast? Yes. Morris made another note. Look, Grant said, if the EPA is so concerned about John Hammond and what he's doing, the dinosaur sites in the north, the amber purchases, the island in Costa Rica, why don't you just ask him about it? Sometimes they're just simple solutions that nobody ever does.
Do you want to end here?
Do you want to end it there? We are approaching the hour mark.
I know, but I'm asking you. Do you want to end it there, or do you want to end it at the end of this chapter?
I think we can reach the end of the chapter. I don't think it'll kill us to go a little bit more.
No, that's fine.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to the end of the chapter, folks. If the EPA is so concerned about John Hammond and what he's doing, dinosaur sites in the north, the amber purchases, the island and Costa Rica, why don't you just ask him about it? At the moment, we can't, Morris said. Why not? Grant said. Because we don't have any evidence of wrongdoing, Morris said. Personally, I think it's clear John Hammond is evading the law. Dun, dun, dun.
Gentlemen, now I know this looks bad.
See, you never would have guessed that from the sweet old man we saw in the movies. But the man John Hammond is in the novel, completely different. He's much greedier.
Give me all of it. He literally looked at people people selling amber on eBay or whatever, and he said, "Give me your entire stock.
I'll take your entire stock."
And people who weren't selling ambers like, would you like to buy? Would you like to sell me your amber? And he's like, well, yeah.
All right, continuing on. I was first contacted, Morse explained, by the Office of Technology Transfer. The OTT monitors shipments of American technology which might have military significance. They called to say that InGen had 2 areas of possible illegal technology transfer. First, InGen shipped 3 Cray XMPs to Costa Rica. InGen characterized it as transfer within corporate divisions and said they weren't for resale. But OTT couldn't imagine why the hell somebody need that power in Costa Rica. 3 Crays, Grant said. Is that a kind of computer? Morris nodded. Very powerful supercomputers. Thinking machine supercomputers. They did say that in the movie.
That'd be funny if that was actually Dennis Ninja who did that.
To put it in perspective.
What's a cray? How do you spell cray?
Crays.
All right.
To put it in perspective, 3 Crays represent more computing power than any other privately held company in America. An InGen sent the machine to Costa Rica. You have to wonder why. I give up. Why? Grant said. Nobody knows. And the hoods are even more worrisome. Morris continued. Hoods are automated gene sequencers. Machines that work out the genetic code by themselves. They're so new that they haven't been put on the restricted lists yet. But any genetic engineering lab is likely to have one, if it can afford the $500,000 price tag.
Okay, so apparently it's just spelled. Apparently there's not the plural form for crays. It's just cray. You just say cray. So this is the one thing that the author got wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna blame him. He probably doesn't know that much about technology. Holy shit! Sorry, sorry.
What?
It's a supercomputer, right? It's an old one, but it still checks out. It looks like it.
Well, it's an old supercomputer, so.
Oh, it
checks out.
It's okay. It's named after Seymour Cray.
Seymour.
The more modern ones look scary.
Building a new supercomputer. Good mental exercise. Care to join me? Why? There's smoke coming out of the old computer.
And my phone could ever
focus.
If the camera can focus.
That's a cray.
Yeah, that's a cray. And notice the rainbow colors.
Anyways, well,
it looks like something from Doctor Who.
He flipped through his notes. Well, it seems Engine shipped 24 hood sequencers to their island in Costa Rica. Again, they said it was a transfer within divisions and not an export. Morris said there wasn't much that OTT could do. They're not officially concerned with use, but Engine was obviously setting up one of the most powerful genetic engineering facilities in the world in an obscure Central American country. A country with no regulations. That kind of thing has happened before. There had already been cases of American bioengineering companies moving to another country so they would not be hampered by regulations and rules. The most flagrant, Morris explained, was the Biosyn rabies case. In 1986, Genetic Biosyn Corporation of Cupertino tested a bioengineered rabies vaccine on a farm in Chile. They didn't inform the government of Chile or the farm workers involved. They simply released the vaccine. The vaccine consisted of live rabies virus modified to be non-virulent, but the virulence hadn't been tested. Biosyn didn't know whether the virus could still cause rabies or not. Even worse, the virus had been modified. Ordinarily, you couldn't contract rabies unless you were bitten by an animal, but Biosyn modified the rabies virus to cross the pulmonary alveoli. You could get an infection just inhaling it. Biosyn staffers brought this live rabies virus down to Chile in a carry-on bag on a commercial airline flight.
Oh, here's this cool.
Morris often wondered what would have happened if the capsule had broken open during the flight. Everybody on the plane might have been infected with rabies. If you ever wonder what a zombie apocalypse would look like in real life, that would be it. If an entire airplane contracted the rabies virus, they would essentially start acting like rabid zombies. Just everybody attacking each other.
Imagine Jurassic Park with zombies.
Yeah, someone created an AU story, a Jurassic World, a Jurassic Park AU called Jurassic World Infected.
But what if this plane had somehow the plane of the rabies?
Basically, what happens is that certain dinosaurs contract a disease, and
it should be about the book. I will not watch it and view it.
It's just a fan. It's a fan fiction project.
Oh, I know that, but it has to mention the plane incident. If it mentions the plane incident as the source, that would be, then I'll give it some credit.
I don't know. I haven't actually read it.
I
just know that
also,
it exists.
Also, for some reason,
I don't want to read it because they directly kill off Rexy and make her one of the infected dinosaurs. Well, and I'm like, Rexy? Oh. I can understand the Giga being infected, but Rexy? You turned her into one of your zombie dinosaurs?
Okay, but anyways.
They made the Atrociraptors and Toro hero dinosaurs in this AU.
Okay, but anyways,
And
It would actually be funny if someone on the plane that was like inhaling the rabies gas. It was like, my favorite.
everybody on the plane might have been infected with rabies. It was outrageous. It was irresponsible. It was criminally negligent. But no action was taken against Biosyn. The Chilean farmers who unwittingly risked their lives were ignorant peasants.
Those peasants.
The government of Chile had an economic crisis to worry about, and the American authorities had no jurisdiction. So Lewis Dodson, we got Dodson.
So wait. So Lewis Dodson is actually a goat. He actually did something serviceable. What did he do?
So Lewis Dodson, the geneticist responsible for the rabies test, was still working at Biosyn.
Oh no!
Biosyn was still as reckless as ever.
Wait, so it says for the test, not for the rabies test. It's for the test. What type
the
of
rabies test is the test.
Oh, okay. So the Biosyn company was behind the rabies incident.
And Lewis Dodson was responsible for bringing it aboard a commercial aircraft and carrying it over to Chile.
They better mention that. Did they mention that?
I've never read it. I don't want to read it.
No, not the AU. I'm talking about the main series, the current one. Did they ever mention it in the movie?
No, none of the movies. Not Dodson being responsible for it. You've seen the movies.
No, I've seen it, but like but I've missed some scenes of Camp Cretaceous / Chaos Theory where Dodson was in it.
No, they never mentioned Lewis Dodson being responsible for the rabies incident because that all happened back when he was young. That all happened back when he was younger, before the original park.
There could be someone that lived during that time. It's like, we do not trust Biosyn because I remember when there was a rabies incident with the plane. That happened years ago.
Well, nobody got the rabies. They're saying he brought it on board, and everybody could have gotten infected. Other American companies were hurrying to set up facilities in foreign countries that lacked sophistication about genetic research. Countries that perceived genetic engineering to be like any other high-tech development, and thus welcomed it to their lands, unaware of the dangers posed. So that's why we began our investigation of InGen, Morris said, about 3 weeks ago. And what have you actually found? Grant said. Not much, Morris admitted. When I go back to San Francisco, we'll probably have to close the investigation. And I think I'm about finished here. He started packing up his briefcase. By the way, what does juvenile hyperspace mean? That's just a fancy label for my report, Grant said. Hyperspace is a term for multidimensional space.
So this book so the story even had hyperspace in it?
Like
the dinosaurs traveling through space.
Like three-dimensional tic-tac-toe. If you were to take all the behaviors of an animal, its eating and movement and sleeping, you could plot the animal within the multi-dimensional space. Some paleontologists refer to the behavior of an animal as occurring in an ecological hyperspace. Juvenile hyperspace would just refer to the behavior of juvenile dinosaurs. If you wanted to be as pretentious as possible. At the far end of the trailer, the phone rang. Ellie answered. She said, "He's in a meeting right now. Can he call you back?"
No!
Morris snapped his briefcase shut and stood. Thanks for your help and the beer, he said. No problem, Grant said. Grant walked with Morris down the trailer to the door at the far end. Morris said, Did Hammond ever ask for any physical materials from your site? Bones or eggs or anything like that? No, Grant said. Dr. Sattler mentioned you do some genetic work here. Well, not exactly, Grant said. When we remove fossils that are broken or for some other reason not suitable for museum preservation, we send the bones out to a lab that grinds them up and try to extract proteins for us. The proteins are then identified and the report is sent back to us. Which lab is that? Morris asked. Medical Biological Services in Salt Lake. How'd you choose them? Competitive bids. The lab has nothing to do with engine? Morris asked. Not that I know, Grant said. They came to the door of the trailer. Grant opened it and felt the rush of hot air from outside. Yeah, I know how that feels. Morris paused to put on his sunglasses. One last thing, Morris said. Suppose Engine wasn't really making a museum exhibit. Is there anything else they could have done with the information in the report you gave them? Grant laughed. Sure, they could feed a baby hadrosaur. Morris laughed too. A baby hadrosaur. That'd be something to see. How big were they? About so, Grant said, holding his hands 6 inches apart. Squirrel size. And how long before they become full grown? 3 years, Grant said, give or take. Morris held out his hand. Well, thanks again for your help. Take it easy driving back, Grant said. He watched for a moment as Morris walked back toward his car, and then closed the trailer door. Grant said, What did you think? Ellie shrugged. Naive. You like the part where John Hammond is the evil arch-villain? Grant laughed. John Hammond's about as sinister as Walt Disney.
Damn! Walt Disney could not rest in peace.
All right, who's gonna tell him? Who's gonna tell him how sinister Walt Disney really was?
Probably wasn't really the sinister as Walt Disney, but.
By the way, who called? Oh, Ellie said. It was a woman named Alice Levin. She works at Columbia Medical Center. You know her? Grant shook his head. No. Well, it was something about identifying some remains. She wants you to call her back right away.
This subplot.
And we'll pick up next week with
skeletons.
Skeletons.
Spooky, scary skeletons and shivers up my spines.
Down your spine. That's it. All right. Well, that's going to do it for this stream. So we hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for tuning in to Dominic Reads. Everyone just sits here and provides hilarious commentary that has nothing to do with what we're reading.
Rabies.
So
rabies zombie.
Tune in next week, hopefully, and we'll continue Michael Crichton's Jurassic Park.
I noticed he had nothing to say about the display behind us.
If you enjoy these kinds of videos, leave a like on the video, and if you want to see more, hit the subscribe button, punch the notification bell so you won't miss a beat here on the Random Fandom. And let us know in the comments section down below what sorts of videos you'd like to see us attempt in the future. We're obviously looking to gain more viewers, and we're hoping to up our game here on this channel.
And please,
until then,
get me to read more. Tell it right in the comment section. Let Ravenwood read more, please send him back.
Give
him back his job.
I tell you what. If we can get this video to 10 likes, 10 likes, surely you can do this, guys. There's at least 500 subscribers. we at least have 50 subscribers.
64. Nintendo 64.
If we could get at least 10 likes on this video,
this stream,
on this particular stream video, whenever you watch it in the future, then we will let Ravenwood read next week. Maybe the week after. But first, you have to get this video or stream to 10 likes. If you fail to do that, then Raven's not going to read.
You get to make fun of how I pronounce words.
Yes, I get to make fun of how he pronounces words.
Bascals!
Well, until next time, everyone, I'm the Indominic Rex.
I'm Ravenwood.
And until we meet again, cheers, much love as always, and tip of the hat, y'all.
Bye-bye!